Hey, doing, Mike? You go Mike or Michael?
Actually both, but I usually go by Mike.
All right. Hey, I guess we didn't start it. I'm glad you could show up to the podcast, but I don't know if you know about my podcast. We are slobberingly grateful for whatever guest we got, especially somebody of your magnitude. We start off every podcast with what we like to call the over-the-top intro. Can we butter your bread a little bit? Can we speak highly of you before we jump into this great interview?
Sure, yeah. I just want to say you got a cool name, Sam McLean, man. That sounds like an action adventure hero.
Yeah, much like my cousin up there.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Let's get to it. Our next guest is the pride of William Allen Senior High School, all the way from Allentown, PA. Go Canaries. He is also an Emmy Award winning writer, producer, and director. He's known for regular show Phineas and Ferb, and now his latest project, Merry Little Batman, that can be streamed all the way from Amazon Prime. When he's not putting the DC animation universe in a full Nelson, he's still polishing up those amateur wrestling skills, and he's got a lot in the tank. Mike Roth, welcome to the podcast.
Oh my gosh, thanks. That was amazing. Wait, I wrestled? I wrestled in high school.
Yes,
That's
we got
amazing.
a pretty good research and development team here. And
I wrestled at Foxcatcher. That's just a
oh,
little tidbit.
okay, we're gonna put a pin in that because I want to talk about that later
Yeah.
because that just makes me feel great knowing that because that's one of the most elite places to even learn. That them Gracie's. Never mind. Let's get into it. Let's get into
Yeah, let's do it.
I got it. Like I gotta say, I don't know if you know this. Bit of a comic book nerd. I love Batman. I was honored to even have this conversation or watch this movie. And Merry Little Batman. I assume you are familiar with Batman. I assume that you understand the weight it carries. So I gotta ask my first question out the gate. How important was it to stay true to the canon and create script that honors the history of Batman, but also make it a fun Christmas movie?
Yeah, I mean, that was a driving force in all of our conversations when we were developing this. Yeah, and it was a big challenge because Batman has 90 years worth of history, and there's certain expectations going into this, especially like most of the Batman properties today. He's kind of dark, he's brooding, and we've seen a lot of Batman like that. And it was important for us, like if we're going to tell this Batman Christmas story, that we do it with our lens, that we do it specific to what our story is, and we want it very much for this to be a Christmas story. That Christmas drives this, and so early on we're like, Bruce he's older, right? He's got a son, right? And so what would he do? What would change in his life, right? So he's completely cleaned up Gotham. Like he just did it. It's done. There's no more crime. I'm going to raise my kid in this very clean, safe space, right? And then we gave him a dad beard.
Yeah.
We took him
Yep.
out of his tuxedo and his debonair style, and we put him in mussed up flannels and dad sneakers. His Batmobile is a little bit of like a midlife crisis car. Like, what's my favorite automobile I had that I would have wanted when I was 8? That's his Batmobile. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
so it's like, we kind of bent some stuff a bit, right? But really the way we looked at it is, instead of taking the lens and focusing on his Batmaning and his brooding, we took that same Batman and we just turned that lens to him, and we focused on him being a dad, right? And what does it look like being a dad who really wants to raise a son the way every dad wants to raise his son? You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
we use a lot of our own dadisms in there as well, right? To kind of fill it out, make it feel authentic as we possibly could, so the audiences at home really connect to it. But we also really needed those Batman fans to connect to it too. So that's where, like I said, like we were always tethered. Like we had kind of a long leash that we gave ourselves, but not too much. You know what I mean? We still wanted to be tethered to this 90 years of amazing Batman history.
Now, one of the cool things about this, because I actually did watch this with my son, and I didn't know what to expect going in because you walk into this alternate, well, I won't say alternate, but this different look of Gotham. Like how you said, it was no crime. There is he's retired because there is no crime. There, you see the beard and the dad sneakers, and it was just like it just so happened to be in Gotham rather than Gotham being the forefront. And it was, oh, here's another thing he didn't do. He didn't put his kids in danger. He's so good at just like if you follow the canon, hey, if you're, teenage boy want to hang out with me, come on with me. He didn't do any of those things, and they more focused on Damien, and that was such a shift. How how was the shift in where you just kind of like, okay, we got to kind of balance it. What can we change? What can we not change? What was off limits in your world?
Oh boy, that's a big question. I don't know how to answer that quickly. I
Mhm.
mean, what was off limits? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. It's just that's such a big question. Like I said, it's just we wanted we just wanted to honor Batman as Batman. You know what I mean? And we didn't want to go too far that things broke, right? So anyway, sorry, I don't know how to
No,
answer.
it's cool. Maybe my follow-up question will help you out
Yeah,
with this
yeah,
because since you made changes, there were slight changes in the characters. Every iteration of Damien I've ever seen before this one, he's kind of a jerk. He doesn't play. He just doesn't play along with others, and it was pretty cool just seeing Damien as just an innocent, overzealous child who. One thing I think that stayed constant is he just wants his dad's approval. That's all he
yeah, yeah.
wants.
Yeah.
So how is it okay to show Damien in that light versus the other versions we had before?
In the other versions, like if he were 13, right? In the other versions, he's more of a teenager, right? So he's already been trained by the League of Assassins. He's already been kind of jaded to the world, So we turned the clock back on that and made him 8. And I'm a huge fan of Calvin and Hobbes, so I kind of looked to Calvin for some inspiration too. And the idea is like, look, he still is a little bit mischievous and he gets himself into trouble, but he's kind of too young to really understand all of that, right? So what does this little Damien look like? He still has that kind of Spitfire energy, and he still kind of gets himself into trouble. But it's not. But it's because he doesn't know any better. It's because he's very innocent. He doesn't know how dangerous the world is, and that's part of what he learns in the movie.
One of the things I loved about Merry Little Batman, and I'm gonna preface this by being very careful because I don't want to give out the movies, is the nods not just to the Batman universe, but Christmas movies as a whole. There was like slight nods to Home Alone,
Yeah,
and I'll say it that way. There was a nice nod to the callback for the diehard Batman people like me, like having Alfred remind Bruce, hey man, no brooding around this time of year. Because
yeah,
we know what happened around this time of year to Bruce. And seeing a bat suit with nipples, our favorite bat suit that we've seen. And even Damon's ninja skills that kind of alludes to his giftedness from the League of Assassins. And the fact that Bane at this advanced age still uses Venom.
yeah.
So that level of fan service, why was that important to put that in this movie?
Well, we wanted co-viewership with this movie. We wanted something that has a little bit of something in it for everybody, right? Like we call it four quadrant, but it's like, we wanted stuff that's in there for little kids. We want something that's in there for teenagers. We want something that's in there for grandparents and parents. But we also wanted the diehard fans to get something out of it too, right? So we planted lots of different Easter eggs in it. There's a Carmine Infantino. If you're a big comic fan, you probably have heard of him before. He's in the film, and
Yep.
he's the guy who gets hit with the coffee, and it gets spilled like during the fight with Bane and Poison Ivy in the toy store, and that's his actual voice, right? That's Carmine's actual voice. Um, so yeah, that was really important to us, and we're also fans of Batman, so it's important to us too because we also, as fans of Batman, we wanted to put stuff in the film as well that kind of got us excited as well.
Now, one new innovation that I've seen in this movie that I love, and I wish this would show up in more. I hope this becomes canon and is used in other ways. The idea of the Bat Dad, and yeah, how did that idea come about?
I think we wanted. It's like Batman leaves and he's stuck in Nova Scotia, right?
Hmm.
but still wanted Batman to be with Damian in some way, So it's like just a little bit of guidance, but it's not his real dad because the whole movie he's longing for his dad. He's longing to be with his dad. He gets a little taste of his dad, but it's not actually his dad. It's just a computerized version of his dad that still puts some of the dad teachings that you'd expect Bruce to say is still coming through this machine, but Damien can't really fully connect to it, right? Because it is still a machine. And 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 so that's where it came from. We needed to keep Bruce alive with Damien moving through the project.
Okay. And one thing I do like is the artistry of this. It's just how it was illustrated because it made the heroes and villains, all the characters just have this larger than life type. It where I'll just take Joker for example. Joker is like dangerous, but it's more cartoony. Still a Christmas movie. And Batman is a dead ringer for the Crimson Chin. To those who know, they know. I'm just saying, those who know know. What was the idea behind it, changing it in more of this, I guess, less dark Gotham that we have been accustomed to?
Yeah. Well, again, it's just coming back to Bruce being a dad, right? Like he wants to raise Damien in this very safe environment. So he's completely cleaned up Gotham and he's gotten rid of all of crime in Gotham. So that was kind of a lot of the visual style and visual language comes from this idea that it's not just Christmas as a backdrop, but Christmas is actually driving the story. And that informed the character designs, because we wanted everything to feel very illustrative, almost like a children's book, almost like one of those Christmas picture books you might look through like Christmas Eve. And that's where a lot of the design language came from.
Okay, well, we're getting up against it. This is not necessarily a question, but
Yeah,
I will just give you props on this. The casting for this has been excellent, and something that I think you changed my mind on using David Hornsby as Joker. Cricket, yes. If you know, you know. As it,
yeah.
I didn't hear it until I saw it. Great choice. That's an excellent choice. I didn't think about that until I saw it
I,
and
I
what
will
that could
say,
be.
I will say, and don't hate me, Batman fans, but this is my favorite Joker of all time. I think what David Hornsby did with it is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't imagine anyone else doing our Joker. It's just so good. The change ups, we want it very much for like Damien, like the story is through Damien's eyes as a child, but we wanted Joker to also feel like a child, right? He's also kind of petulant. He's got these temper tantrums and mood swings, and we needed like the voice range to kind of like go very extreme, happy, angry, murderous, you know. And David
Yeah.
absolutely nailed it.
Well, we're up against it. Like I said, I got the warning. Before we get out of here, this camera, let me know what you got on the horizon, where they can reach you on socials, wherever. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, coming on the heels of, we have Bat Family that we're working on right now, which is a television series, a 22-minute action adventure comedy. And it's going to be the same characters you saw in the movie, except we're expanding the world even further, and we're adding some new additional family members to the house. I don't want to give too much away because I don't know how much I can give away, but we're very excited for it, and we're very pumped for everybody to see this.
Well, let's put it like this. When you can give it away, you got a home here. I love to have you back and we'll talk about it. We're not gonna act like we just walk past Foxcatcher. We're gonna we'll put a little pin in that too. We'll talk about that too.
All right, great. Love it.
All right, Mike. This has been awesome. Thank you so much. Wish you much success in all you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay, see ya.